We're continuing our look at motivation and different theories related to motivation. And we're looking at that humanistic view of management, where we're bringing in the psychologists to help us understand people's drives. And so here we are going to look at the 4-drive theory from Lawrence and Nohria. And we'll just talk quickly here about Lawrence and Nohria. So they are from the Harvard Business School. And what they're looking at is how we have these biological and social drives that impact our behaviors in life in general. And you can take these drives and you can translate them into how employees function and are motivated within an organization. So there are 4 drives: the drive to acquire, the drive to bond, the drive to learn, and the drive to defend. All of those are going to impact motivation. If we combine those with social norms, what society says is acceptable behavior, with our past experiences, with our personal values, what we think is important and how people should behave, and with our mental models in terms of what we think should be done, that is ultimately going to determine how we act. So there are personal factors and there are environmental factors that combine with these drives to determine our motivations and our behaviors. So let's talk about these 4 drives. And let's talk about how we could tie these to motivate our employees. So there is a drive to acquire. That is, we, as humans, like to take control and retain objects and experiences. We like to collect things. We like to collect things that we've done, so we have collecting stories, and we like to collect stuff. So based on the drive to acquire, how could you motivate your workers? Well, we could pay them more because then they can buy stuff. But we can also motivate them with rewards. So giving out swag, so themed shirts tied to our organization. We like stuff. You can tie it to experiences. So we motivate the hardest workers, the best salespeople get to go on a trip. They get to go to a professional development event. So all of these give them stories or give them stuff. And people are driven and competitive when it comes to getting more stories and more stuff. There's also a drive to bond, to form social relationships. So we want to be able to interact with our colleagues. And so if we look at the drive to bond, we want opportunities to interact. So how can you motivate your workforce? Well, we create opportunities for people to do things in groups. We create opportunities to socialize. So maybe we have Christmas parties. We recognize people in terms of their years of experience by hosting an event to celebrate them. So here we are motivating people by creating opportunities for them to interact with each other. We have a drive to learn, drive to satisfy curiosity and understand ourselves. And so people want opportunities to learn skills, try them out. Okay. We want to test out new things. We get bored doing the same job for 50 years. We want to try out new opportunities. So by giving you an opportunity, we talked before in terms of Hackman and Oldham, in terms of job rotation and job enrichment. These are activities where we are going to drive to learn, satisfy our curiosity, understand ourselves in terms of, do I like this as part of my job? Am I good at this in terms of part of my job? So driving to learn is creating options for people to try out new things, to learn new things within the organization. And then we have a drive to defend, to protect ourselves physically and socially. And so coming back then to Maslow's lower levels in terms of the hierarchy of needs, in terms of we need safety and we need to provide for our basic necessities. So recognizing motivation within the organization comes from creating psychological safety. That is, it's okay for me to express my opinion. I want it to be a place where it's okay to try something new and maybe not be so good at it the first time around. So we are looking for motivations in terms of protecting ourselves socially. That's our psychological safety and that testing out new things, that safe space. And then also physically, right? We need a work environment where we're not going to be injured or harmed. We can protect our health in part of the job, and that will motivate us. So as we're looking at the needs of our workers and what we need to provide them to get the most out of them, we need to address all of these drives, according to Lawrence and Nohria, and then recognize that it's these drives combined with environmental factors, like what society says is okay, and personal factors, what individuals say is okay, that will ultimately determine how people behave. So we can see here in terms of the impact on the organization of the 4 drive theory, in terms of the drive to acquire, are performance expectations clearly defined and rewards tied to performance? Are we being recognized appropriately for our performance? So do we get the rewards that we deserve? And are we being paid competitively? Drive to bond. So do we encourage a organizational culture that is inclusive? Do people feel part of a team? Do they feel supported? Do you feel like your management cares about you? Then we have the drive to learn. Does your work interest you? Not too boring, allows you to practice all your skills, supports your personal and professional growth, and allows you to enhance those skills and abilities. And then we have that drive to defend. Is your workplace free of hostility and intimidation? Do you feel respected by your managers? Do you support the direction that your organization is going in terms of their vision and their culture?